Good evening, fellow aquarium scientists. Hope everybody is doing well. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Usama. I am the owner and founder of Atlantic Aquariums, and I wanted to welcome everybody to the second live stream on the new Atlantic Aquariums YouTube channel. We're just going to wait a couple of moments for people to trickle in, and we will get started. Please let me know if you can hear me, see me. Hey, Scotty. Glad you can make it. Hope you're doing all right. Let me know if you can hear me okay, see me okay. Just going to wait a couple of moments for people to trickle in. I'm kind of small but sound fine. Wonderful. Yep, today I'm just a little portion of the screen. Have a little presentation or a PowerPoint slide. That's going to be the main focus, so you don't really need to see me as long as you can hear me. Oh, my Lord. Are you still at work or are you heading home now? Probably still at work because it's 5 now. Oh, okay, that's good. Let's get like a 1 or 2 more minutes and then I'll start talking and then people can join and watch the replay. Or do what you do, Scotty, and fast forward double time. Ooh, excuse me. Scotty, as of right now, I believe 24 last time I checked this morning. 24 people have subscribed. At least one of those or two of those are mine because of my personal YouTube account and Professor Fish Tank's. But yeah, 24 total. Which isn't bad considering it's had to make a brand new channel. But hopefully once this channel is more active, slowly but surely, more people will be able to check it out. I agree, Scotty. Yeah, it's in the works. It's just been a bit difficult with just personal life just being too busy. It's hard to manage making videos because it's just me, but one of the goals is to get some videos cranked out. Hopefully doing product spotlights or doing unboxing videos. So instead of doing live stream unboxings, just we'll probably just record and make a video and post that. But definitely want to work on this channel more. Hello, Fish Family. Thank you very much for stopping by. Appreciate it. Okay, so I'm going to get started because got a lot to talk about. A lot of updates. Some really exciting updates. Some not so exciting updates, but updates for sure. So one of my goals is to do a live stream at least on an annual basis, basically themed around what we're going to talk about today, which is basically talking about updates, things that are going on in the business, on the website. In case if you aren't subscribed to receiving emails and updates and things like that, newsletters, things like that, this will be, I guess, another way for you to get some updates on what's going on, what's to come, any changes, things like that, as well as, of course, a way to ask questions about anything really. But I thought that doing something towards like the beginning of the year, a live stream like what I'm going to be doing today, I think would be beneficial to people. And it's also geared towards my goal of being as transparent as possible with how the business is running, and things like that, to be as transparent as possible. Obviously, I can't mention a lot of things, but most, I want to let people know what's going on. So let me pull up the slide here. And let me know if you guys can see the presentation okay. I tried making the text as big as possible. But this is just a brief rundown of what we're going to be talking about. So we're going to talk about the Aquarius Rewards Program, Member Appreciation Day, inventory changes, website design changes, do some announcements regarding events coming up, talking about our blog and article section, talk about updates on pricing and rates, talking about the Atlantic Aquarium Certified Aquaculturist Program. Curious to know what you guys think of that when we get to it. And then obviously talk about sponsored organizations and might talk about other things here and there that I probably forgot to mention there, or that might be related kind of to what's already on here. But and feel free to ask questions in the comments or anything like that. I'm more than happy to stop and address things like that, because I have it set up so I can also see the comments. This Guy says, I can't see because I'm not looking because I'm actually doing water changes. Be proud. I'm very proud of you, Scotty. You know me. Whenever you do water changes, I'm like a proud brother or father or however you want to look at it. Okay, so starting off with the Aquarius Rewards program, I've talked about it before, but I kind of really want to hone down on the program and what it's all about and why you might want to become a store member so you can take advantage of it. So in order to participate in the program, you must sign up or you must be a Atlantic Aquarium store member. What that means is you actually have to go to the website and create an account or log in or however it goes. And you'll become a store member. And then that way you'll be able to earn rewards. And some of the ways that you can earn rewards is by one, becoming a site member or signing up to the site, which you automatically get 20 points just to sign up. And then when you place an order, you get 1 point per dollar spent. If you write a product review, you get 5 points. Product reviews are very important for me because they allow me to determine what items that I'm selling is doing well for people, what's not really doing well, so that way I can address some of the concerns or issues, and if I have to, removing the product. Just because an item, product has worked for me in my fish room or my aquariums doesn't mean it might work for you, and that is totally fine. But product reviews really, really help me. And as an incentive for you to write an honest product review, you get 5 points for each review you do. And then celebrate a birthday. And when you celebrate a birthday, you get 20 points, which is basically placing an order on your birthday. So those are ways that you can earn. And then for every 100 points, you get $10 off your order. That's what you get once you reach 100 points. If you visit Atlantic Aquariums during like an in-person event like the Keystone Clash or club events or anything like that, where we're vending, you still can get points for your purchase. You just have to let me know that you are a store member. And then I'm able to, I'll get your name, look you up, and then link you to your purchase. And then once you pay, technically you should get the points associated with that. So when you do come, it's just not exclusive to online orders. You should be able to get the points for your in-person purchases as well. Just let me know that you are a member, and then you'll be fine from there on. Yes, Scotty, you have made a lot of points and redeemed them too. So, which is good. So annual member appreciation day. So this is something I've wanted to do for a while. And I finally want to kind of figure it out this year, hopefully. Sorry. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, sorry about that. And basically, I wanted to dedicate a day to those of you who have been supporting Atlantic Aquarium since day one. Basically, signing up to the website, and subscribing to get the newsletter, things like that, interacting with social media and the emails themselves. Clicking, not just opening and reading the email, but clicking on it, things like that. Just being very supportive, even if you haven't really bought anything, but still support and still shout out Atlantic Aquariums. We want to celebrate you guys and we want to give back. And one thing that we're going to do is dedicate a day to the members. And the way that's going to work is members will receive by email a special discount code that they can use for that day only, and you get 50% off your order, which is the biggest discount Atlantic Aquariums has ever done. And it's for one time only, so you can only use it for one purchase per person, and you can't combine them with any other discounts. So let's say you are a club member of you're a member of a club that we sponsor. You can't use your club membership discount on top of this discount, because then you're at that point, most likely, depending on what you buy, you're getting your order for free, and it's not gonna go well for me. But even if I did allow it, the website that I use doesn't even allow it. So you cannot combine with other offers or discounts. And then the exact date is to be determined. It might be on the day or anniversary of Atlantic Aquariums, when Atlantic Aquariums went live. I'm just not sure yet. So we'll have to look into it, mainly because Atlantic Aquariums went live during the holiday season. So you've already got Black Fridays and things like that. People are already buying stuff. So, we'll see. But I'm pretty excited about that. And I hope you guys are excited about that too. And it'll give you guys a little bit of a push, if you aren't a store member, to become one. It literally doesn't cost you anything to sign up. Inventory changes. So this is a big thing I wanted to spend some time on talking about. So a lot is going to be changing in terms of what Atlantic Aquariums is going to be offering, at least for now. It might change, instead of, removing things, we'll probably add things because we're doing so well. You never know. However, this is based off of how many years has it been now? 4 years? Yeah, roughly 4 years. 4+ years of Atlantic Aquariums being operational. A lot of inventory changes are going to be set in motion. It's going to be a gradual thing. You probably actually have already started seeing it, noticing certain items are no longer, haven't been in stock for a while, or is starting to disappear from the online store. But basically, this year, Atlantic Aquariums will be reducing dry goods selections. So a lot of our dry goods, we're going to be scaling back on it. It just hasn't been doing well, interestingly enough. So certain items that we've had in stock in the past that barely sold anything, we're just not going to offer it anymore. So we're going to be scaling back on that. We will no longer be carrying select items that is sold by manufacturers direct to customers. So for certain products that the manufacturer wholesales to other businesses, but also sell themselves, will no longer carry products from those manufacturers, mainly because what I have noticed is that what it costs me to get that product in, and then obviously increase the price so that way I'm making a profit out of it. That wholesale price, sometimes the manufacturer is selling their product on their website at that price, if that makes sense. So basically, they're selling it for way cheaper than what I'm selling it, but it's the same product. It's from them, and it's not that frequently. I haven't noticed that frequently, but for a few companies that we carry products, they have their own stores, and usually it's a bit more affordable to buy from them. And they're obviously, because they're an aquarium company manufacturer, they're pretty well known compared to Atlantic Aquariums. And so it just doesn't make sense. And it's something that has affected us negatively than positively. Still, these are products that I still recommend and encourage people to get, and I use myself. Just not going to carry it on Atlantic Aquariums right now. Certain items, however, I am willing to special order depending on what it is. You just have to reach out and talk to me. But that's something that I'm going to be dedicating this year to really looking into what we currently carry and what makes sense to carry. Now, there will be exceptions regarding items that manufacturers sell directly to customers and things like that. There will be exceptions on items that you guys are already buying. And it's not just one person, but multiple people. Let's say there's a particular filter that we sell that actually that's not a good answer or a good example. But basically a product that multiple people have been regularly buying from us. Those items obviously we will not get rid of because obviously we have a dedicated customer base that is purchasing it from us. And so those items we will not remove. Or if we notice that there is a demand for a particular item from multiple people, we will consider, if it has been removed, we will consider bringing it back. I hope that makes sense. So we're going to be reducing or scaling back on dry goods. And this year, I want to really focus on and as well as invest in live goods. So that means fish, inverts, corals, and obviously we already sell plants. But really expand on our live goods selection because as of till today, we've only been doing plants. But I have one or two wholesalers that have started offering live goods. And it's something, as of right now, it's something that as long as I kind of save up on and really manage it properly, is something that is doable. Another reason why I want to scale up on the live goods is because we're in the process of moving to a house that has a relatively nice basement. It's unfinished, but there's a room in the basement that's pretty decently sized for me to set up my dream fish lab or aquarium lab. And obviously, that's where I'm also going to be setting up holding systems for a lot of the retail stuff. And so hopefully, you never know. But it's things like that and the fact that I've been really working hard to save up and be able to afford to get in stuff, that I've decided that it's time to really scale up on it, um, and um, and offer some live goods. And you may have noticed on, like, if you follow us on Instagram. If you don't, I strongly recommend you do, because on our Instagram stories, you may have seen me posting polls like, you know, do you prefer SPS or LPS corals? Do you prefer tissue culture or potted plants? What's your favorite fish? Is it this pleco or this pleco? Things like that. And the reason for those polls is I'm trying to get an idea of what hobbyists are interested in and in the market for. That way I can make sure to get in those live goods. And obviously the quality is Atlantic Aquarium's quality. I'm very strict with the health of the live goods and things like that, making sure the fish, corals, plants, everything is healthy before it gets to you. I'm going to do my best to make sure that you're getting the best of the best, to the best of my ability, of course. But it's going to be a very, very slow progress for that, because keep in mind, I'm the only one managing this business, and to add more tanks and more livestock for me to maintain, I want to gradually do it so that way I'm not overstressing myself, because it has happened where I've had burnouts, which is one of the reasons why, for those of you who know me as Professor Fish Tanks, I haven't been that active. It's just because I just have too much on my plate, and life basically has prevented me from enjoying the hobby as much as I wanted to. But anyway, so hopefully you're going to start seeing fish, inverts, corals, and obviously plants being offered on the website. Keep in mind, with fish, inverts, and corals, it is going to be a limited selection. So there's not going to be a lot that's going to be offered, but it still will be something, hopefully. Now, let me pause for real quick and just check the comment section real quick here. Scotty says, I think limiting dry goods is a good idea. Oops, sorry. You are an amazing plant person and and business, I think you should stick with that. Too much competition with dry goods for now, maybe later. Yeah, keep in mind, it's not like I'm completely eradicating the dry goods section. I'm still going to be offering, we're still going to be offering Tropicas, soils, tools, nutrition, fertilizers, all that stuff. Certain items that isn't necessarily available um, in the U.S. Or if it's a product that is sold that is made by a manufacturer who don't sell them, I will obviously keep it. But it's the selection is going to drastically go down. And again, like I said, if there is a particular item that we used to carry, we no longer carry, but there is a high demand for it, basically meaning you guys, the Atlantic Aquariums supporters, are like, hey, Osama, can you get this in? I really want to get it in, and I trust you, and I want to get it to you. I want to get it from you. And if multiple people are requesting the same item, I'm going to get it in for you. And you never know if Atlantic if the business starts doing very well, we'll probably start getting more of the old products back in. If you have the room, I bet tons of local people would give you for very little store credit, give you quality lifestyle. So I'm going to talk about that. Hold that thought, Scotty, later on. Hello, Coro. Thank you very much for stopping in. Hope you're doing okay. So it's not necessarily about the biggest space. I have space. I can make space. As a matter of fact, my mother has helped a lot in creating space. Um, and you know, for those of you who have bought from me, you guys are a better judge than I am. But I think Atlantic Aquariums has done very well with shipping, making sure the items get to you as soon as possible. Obviously, once the package is sent to the carrier, there's very little that I can do in regards to how quickly they get the package to you. But one thing that you guys probably don't know is whenever I ship out an order, I actually pull up the tracking on my phone and I keep track of it. I always pull up just to see where the package is. Is it getting there on time? Has it arrived? Things like that for every single package. So let's say today I shipped out 4 packages. I will have 4 tabs on my phone with each tracking number, so that way I can keep track of your order to make sure that it's getting to you properly. So it's not necessarily a matter of, and you do have a point, Coro, don't get me wrong, but it's not necessarily a matter of who has the biggest warehouse or space or fastest shipping or things like that. It's just that for whatever reason, people just aren't buying stuff, the dry goods from me. Like, I can assure you, there are people in our community, I'm not going to name names or anything, and it's totally fine. Everybody has their preference of where they want to get stuff. But there are people I've seen where they want to get something that I carry, but they just prefer buying it from somebody else. If you have a local fish store, that's even better. I actually recommend you go to your local fish store first. But obviously, if you don't have a local fish store or your local fish store doesn't carry the item and you end up having to resort to buying stuff online, everybody has their preferences. They know, oh, I know this business or this company or this online store carries it, I'm going to buy it from them. I see it in the chats all the time, where in my head I'm like, I literally carry that stuff. If you just go to the website, you will see it there. But people just have their preferences, and certain dry good items, like you may have seen the post for the Dennerley Ryozingu gravel. It's a hot seller right now, and it's a dry good. I don't know what it is, but the moment I was able to get that product in, it's been flying off the shelves, and it got to the point where I was trying to be safe and ordering very little. The wholesaler that I get that product from, they don't have like a minimum requirement, so I can order one if I have to. I can order multiple. So I was playing it safe and only ordering in like 4 or 5 containers of it, just to be on the safe side. And within 2 or 3 days, I'm sold out of it. And then I'm like, okay. And but then I try to wait until somebody purchases it before I order it, just to be on the safe side. But it's gotten, and I've been carrying that item for a couple of months now, and it's gotten to where I'm very confident that that item is going to sell, that I'm starting to get more and more of it in. I just got another shipment of the Rio Zingu gravel in 2 or 3 days ago. And I got multiple, actually, as a matter of fact, I think I have 3 jars of it left. And so it's a matter of like the demand. Like if there's a dry good that people are just buying it from me, I'm obviously going to keep having it on the website. Um, one of the big categories in the dry goods section that is going to have the biggest cut is going to be foods. Um, Food just has not done very well for me, and it's a shocker really, because these are foods, or brands that I personally use myself and have had great success, and they're popular in our aquarium community. But it's just hasn't done well for me. So that is going to have the biggest cut. As a matter of fact, I don't carry any food right now. Most of my food section is out of stock because I've had to toss more out than I've restocked, if that makes sense. So, and it's funny because there are times, because I haven't restocked on food in a while, and from time to time I will get an email or a message of, hey, do you carry this item or this food or this or that or yada yada yada. And I unfortunately have to say that as of right now, we aren't getting any food products in, or however way I word it. But yeah. Yeah, that's one thing that I do love about Dan's fish. That he's very open to, and I think every business should do that, where not completely rely on it, because unfortunately can't completely rely on hobbyist bred fish. They might not have the amount of quantity you need, or things like that. Um, but it's a great way for us to also support the hobbyist and the hobby, and the hobbyist is able to enjoy um, breeding fish, and then getting store credit for it, or in some cases actually getting money for it. Who doesn't like that? um, um, I have my personal reasons for no longer supporting Dan's Fish, but Dan's Fish is still a great business in my opinion, and that's one of the things that I like about them. And you've mentioned that concept of hobbyist spread buying hobbyist spread fish, Scotty. I'm gonna get to that. Stand by. You're gonna be happy when I talk about it. Some dry goods is good because when people buy live goods, they may need some stuff too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How long does it take GH minerals to mix in? I just added some. How long before I should test? So that depends. Usually the manufacturer will mention on their bottle or instructions when to excuse me, when to test. Um, it does depend. Like if you're supplementing water that already has minerals in it, just to maybe raise your GH or whatever the case might be, I would wait, regardless if it's water that already has minerals in, or if you're adding minerals into like RODI water. I would wait at least a day before testing, maybe a little bit more. But look at the packaging of the additive that you got. See what the manufacturer says. They usually do say it, when to start testing. But just to be on the safe side, I would recommend waiting a day, test your water parameters, and then after like a few days to a week, test again and see if there's any changes. Did it go, if you're adding GH, did the GH go even more up after one day? Or things like that. So that would be my recommendation. Obviously, if somebody else has any other insights to that, you're more than welcome to mention it. Hello, Zen. Thank you very much for stopping by. Hope you're doing well. We've got the Keystone class here. Welcome. Okay. So let's continue on here. So now we're just going to talk about like certain livestock, it's live goods that you might see on the website, that you might want to look forward to. You know, one of the fish that I know for sure I'm excited to get, and I can guarantee you will be on the website, is the L181 ancestral species, the peppermint bristlenose pleco. They're absolutely gorgeous, and I can't wait to get them in so I can keep them too. But you've got the honeycomb, you've got the spotted angel, you've got red laser cories, panda cories, Daniel margaritatus. Hopefully, you guys know which species that is, and a few more fish. Inverts, not a lot of selection for inverts yet, but you never know. Uca, Pugulator, Pomesia brigesii, Neracaridina, Davidi cherry, cherry shrimp. And then the Pomesia is your mystery snails. Uca is your common sand fiddler crabs. These are invertebrates as of right now that most likely will be on the website. This is my favorite because as a marine biologist, this is what I literally do and studied. And that is corals. So you're definitely going to see a lot of corals on the website. But potential coral species, Campanella species, your Kenya tree, Duncanopasamia species, your Duncan corals, Ceratopora, high strikes, bird's nest, Fimbrophilia divisa is your frog spawn corals. These are some that I've kept myself. They're easy to maintain corals, and they're just my favorite. Like the Fimbrophilia, the frog spawn, I could literally set up a tank and just have that in there, and I'll be happy. But some of the corals that I'm pretty excited about, I have like a 20-gallon tank that I'm most likely going to convert into a coral holding system, and carry some of these frags to sell. So I'm looking pretty excited about that. And then obviously plants. There's nothing new with the plants. I'm just gonna be ordering more in to kind of restock the plant section. That's basically the first thing you'll probably see, is the plant section just getting revitalized a little bit, and then most certainly after that will be corals. So you'll see corals on the website. The freshwater fish and inverts are probably going to be the last thing to start being available on the website. But yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that. I'm working very hard to save up so I can get stuff in. But it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be a slow process. But hopefully, 2025 is going to be dedicated to getting ready for livestock. And then hopefully, as I work on livestock, you know, I'm going to be very excited to kind of talk about a lot of the Atlantic Aquarium's procedures on quarantine and quality control, managing the health of the livestock, things like that. So I'm pretty excited about that. Stephen, welcome. Glad to see you. Hope you're doing all right, my friend. Scotty says, how about zoas, torches? So yes, Scotty, torches definitely. So they're part of the Euphyllia family. So your frog spawns, hammer corals, torches, those I will definitely have. Zoas, as for now, no. The reason is because with zoas, when it comes to corals, I could care less about the poppy color. As a matter of fact, when I keep corals, I actually don't keep them in a lot of blue light. I keep them in like more of still blue, but more on the whiter, heavy side, because I could care less about the colors. The colors aren't important for me. It's the actual animals that are important for me. On top of that, zoas and paleothoas, they do have what we call paleotoxin. So yes, they are very easy to maintain, but they can be very dangerous if not handled properly. But at some point, once I am very comfortable with my coral procedures and that I'm able to keep corals very well, because it has been a while since I have kept coral personally. Um, I don't see why Zoas won't be on the website. They're a big seller. A lot of people love Zoa to have Zoa gardens in their coral reefs, and there's so many different colors. And so, excuse me. So as of right now, no on the Zoas, yes on the torches, Scotty. Zen says, Usama, do you know the links on your description are not actually hyperlinked? I can't click them. Interesting. I will try to fix that. I don't know why they aren't working. But all those links that you see there are on FishFam Link. So you can go to FishFam Link, or the website, which is like, you are correct. They are not hyperlinked. I don't know why it's doing that, because usually it does become a link. It could be that I copy pasted that portion of the description from like a previous video, so that could be it. Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, thank you for pointing that out, Zen. Um, but yeah. Poppy colors are what people want, and that's why I will have them at some point, but not right now. And a lot of the corals that I will have are also very colorful. Um, so, but yeah, I'm just not. I just not that comfortable with Zoas as of right now. Excuse me. Yeah, no, Zen. They should have been hyperlinks where you can actually click and go on them. But I'll fix it later on. Okay. So website. So what's going to be changing on the actual website itself? So more specific product sections. As of right now, the sections that are on the website are like fish and invertebrates, plants and macroalgae, aquarium equipment and supplies, hardscape and aquascaping supplies, miscellaneous. There's an aquarium specific section. But basically, what I mean by more specific product selections is like taking the aquarium equipment section and breaking it down even more. So there will be, when you go to the menu, where it says shop and the drop down button comes up, you will actually see a section for just filters, for just lights, for just additives and supplements, for just food. So it makes it easy for you to find things, if that makes sense, and it'll be easy for me to organize everything properly. So throughout the year, you'll start seeing things like that change. So like maybe, for example, with the hardscape and aquascaping supplies, for the hardscape section specifically, like the rock, wood, things like that, once I have all those pages set, you will actually see the hardscape and aquascaping supply section disappear, and you'll just have those sections where it'll say rock and wood, or hardscape materials, and then there'll be another section with the aquascaping supplies. A lot of them are like fertilizers and things like that. Those items will just be moved to the additives and supplement section. The CO2 stuff will be added to the aquarium equipment section, things like that, just to make it a bit more organized and a bit easier for you to find what you need. Yes, there are filters for like like if you go to the equipment section, there are filters to filter out just the filtration or the lighting or things like that. But if you go to other aquarium online retailers, they already have them all broken down. It just doesn't make sense to keep it that way. So that's definitely going to be something that's going to change. The Atlantic jungle section is going to be temporarily disabled. What that means is you will not have access to Atlantic jungles and the products that are being shown on there. From analytics that I've been going over, not a lot of people have been visiting the Atlantic jungle section, and thus not buying anything from there. I had Rapashi items on there. Rarely sold any of it. Most of it ended up being tossed out. Um, and I just don't like how it's structured or linked with the remainder of Atlantic Aquariums or things like that. So for now, it's going to be disabled. What that means is, like the banner at the beginning, it'll say Atlantic Jungle shop now. When you click the button, it's not going to take you anywhere. And then I'll probably remove it, but I also don't want to, because if I end up bringing Atlantic Jungles back, it's going to be a pain to put that banner back on there. But I'll see. I'll try playing around. Also, one thing that I'm going to be working hard on, and I would appreciate some help from the community who does a lot of website designing and things like that, is I'm currently in the process of finding another website builder, because the current company that I use, I no longer want to support. And so I'm trying to find a different company that gives me the same customizability that this company did. It's a bit difficult, but I have a few connections that'll hopefully guide me to the right place. So there will be a time, I don't know if it is going to be this year or not, but there will be a point where Atlantic Aquariums, the website, will just be down for a little bit because of that transition. But you will obviously be notified of that. Events. So events to look forward to for the 2025 is obviously the Keystone Clash. The Keystone Clash is an event in Morgantown, PA. Scotty is actually in charge of that event. And obviously Keystone Clash is over here. Scotty, since you are a mod, I'm sure you can post the link to the Keystone Clash. If you can do that, I would greatly appreciate that. But hopefully Atlantic Aquariums will be vending at the Keystone Clash. This is going to be, I don't know, 4th year, 5th year, I'm not sure. But it's an event that I greatly enjoy. It's a hobbyist run event. It gets bigger every year, excuse me. And it's just an event that Atlantic Aquariums will participate in and support as much as they can, as long as they can. And then also there will potentially, Atlantic Aquariums will potentially be attending smaller events or club events, but that is to be determined. I know my local aquarium club usually had started last year, did a swap meet. I'm hoping they'll do one again this year. Scotty, you have to add the HTTP thingy as well. That's not a hyperlink, or that's not a link that could be clicked. But yeah, we're looking forward to that. So blogs and articles. So if you did not know, Atlantic Aquariums has a section under the more thingy on the menu for our article section. There is stuff on there for you to read. A lot of it is basic stuff. But yeah, I just realized I still have Scotty's thingy back on there. Anyway, Scotty says ACLC swab just went on sale. I did notice that numerous companies say it's their best swab. They attend at most profitable. Yeah. The only issue I have with that swab, Scotty, is that it's at the fish place and it's live goods only. I don't have live goods. Right now, Atlantic Aquariums is mostly running on plants, which I don't have that much of right now, and mainly focusing on dry goods. So as of right now, that swap is not profitable for me. But hopefully in the future, when Atlantic Aquariums does grow in the live goods department, that is definitely a event that Atlantic Aquariums will come to for sure. But yeah, anyway, so yes, blogs and articles. There are stuff on that in that section for you guys to read. Um, but hopefully, starting this year, we're gonna start adding more things to that section. Some of the topics that some of the categories in for the articles consist of husbandry science, just news in the industry, as well as conservation, how to's, and then articles specific to freshwater aquaria, saltwater aquaria, herpetology. So that's your semi-aquatics. Keep in mind, Atlantic Aquariums does not deal with terrestrial reptiles. So any animal that we oversee has to be aquatic or semi-aquatic. And so for the herpetology aspect of it, it would be your amphibians as well as your aquatic reptiles, so your turtles, tortoises, terrapins, things like that. And then ponds, there'll be articles specific to ponds. And then another thing that we're hopefully going to do, and this is another incentive for you to become a store member. Again, doesn't cost you to become a member, but there will be member only or paid subscription articles by experts in the field. So we might invite somebody, a notable aquascaper, or somebody who is a renowned breeder, or a scientist who's been who just recently came up with a protocol for breeding a particular fish, or whatever the case might be. And we'll do our best to kind of invite them to write an article for our for an exclusive member article or a paid subscription. So that's something that we're hopefully going to be working on starting this year. Oops, sorry. So pricing / rates. So this is another biggie. So shipping rates. So as of right now, there's 2 shipping options. There's a flat rate, 1 to 3 day priority, which I think is $9.99 right now. And then there's overnight, 1 day overnight shipping, which is $34.99 right now. That's with UPS. And then in order to get free shipping, you must, if you have $100, you get free 1 to 3 day shipping. If it's $200 or more, you get free overnight shipping. There is a minimum. I thought I had it up there, but I don't. There is a minimum. What's the word I'm looking for? There is a order minimum of $20. So your total cart must be $20 or more in order for you to place an order. And then the shipping rates as of right now, no, Scotty, they do not. Do not feed them. Do not feed them baby brine shrimp. If you want to feed live foods to corals, I would recommend copepods, amphipods, things like that. But they will also go after dry foods. So like, hang on. So the food that I fed my corals, especially the corals that I worked with in the lab, was a food from Barrier Reef Labs. Hopefully you can, oops, sorry, see it. Barrier Reef Labs. It is a fine food that actually does not cloud the water or degrade the water. It's basically just little microscopic pearls that is to mimic natural foods that corals would filter in throughout the water. It's actually designed by marine biologists, and tested by marine biologists, which is cool. It comes from Australia. And there's 2 versions of it. There's an SPS, which is a more finer, powdery almost food, and there's an LPS one, which is a bit more pearl or granulated. And I would just pour a little bit in with tank water and mix it around and let it soak a little bit so it doesn't float on the surface. This food does have a tendency, if you just pour it into your aquarium or into the cup. If you don't let it soak for a little bit, it's just going to stay at the surface and it'll just get skimmed out. Which, by the way, when you do feed your systems, especially saltwater systems, excuse me, you want to, if you have smart pumps, put them on feed mode or shut your pump off completely, and just let your the wave makers run, and then feed your tanks that way. That way, all the inhabitants have the time to feed, and then after a couple of minutes, you kick on everything, and then any food will just get filtered out. Um, but yeah, it's actually a really nice food. This is unfortunately expired, so I can't offer this to you. But this is one food that I am going to restock in hopefully at some point. Um, but I'm going to wait until we start offering corals. Then we'll have this food back in stock. Um, but yeah, so copepods, amphipods, in terms of live foods. Um, Frozen foods, mysids, you can feed. Mysis shrimp, krill, depending on what type of coral you have. Some corals actually love meaty foods, believe it or not. And so you can feed them krill, chopped up a little bit. And then obviously your dry prepared foods, they'll take. Whoop. I always feed all of my animals. I always feed my animals a varied diet, so it could be a combination of dried, live, and frozen. I never feed just one particular thing, because if I have one particular thing that um, sorry, um, if I have one particular food, let's say I feed my tanks the Sarah staple granulated foods, and I just feed them that. They're loving it. And then, oh no, I ran out and I can't get any. My local fish store is out of stock, and then I have to order online. It's going to take a while. What do I feed my fish? If I try to feed them something else, they're obviously not going to go for it because they're used to one food, which is why, especially when I'm breeding fish, um, I start off with obviously the baby food. My favorite food is actually the Sarah Micron, uh, Sarah Micron and Sarah Baby are my two favorites that I recommend if you are a fish breeder, for freshwater. Um, on top of baby brine shrimp, obviously, but um, once they're old enough, I start feeding them other foods as well, frozen, live, um, other foods as well. Combination of different foods with different nutritional needs. So sometimes I might feed a more carnivorous heavy food, or a less or more herbivorous food, because a lot of the fish that I keep are either omnivorous, or I just have a variety of vegetarian and carnivorous fish as well. Um, so I always, always, always have multiple brands of foods and things like that. Whoops. I have a goby too that can eat baby brine shrimp. I feed copepods and phytoplankton. Wonderful. Um, yeah, your copepods, as long as they have a good shelter. Usually a refugium is a great way to grow out a copepod colony that will just naturally feed your system. Um, it'll just increase your biodiversity, and then the phytoplankton obviously is actually food for your copepods. Excuse me. um Gobies will even eat prepared foods. I've kept gobies in the lab, as well as gobies that we have at work, Scotty. They'll eat frozen foods, they'll eat gel foods, they'll eat pretty much anything. um um I just think baby brine shrimp are just too small for adult fish. If you're to get like adult brine shrimp, or raise the baby brine to adults, which can be a little bit tricky, but it is doable. We're trying to do that at work right now. I think would be better for them. And on top of that, making sure you gut load your baby brine shrimp so they are nutritionally good for it. Will other things eat phyto? So a lot of your filter feeders will eat phyto, but phytoplankton is predominantly food source for other small live goods like copepods, for example. Um, Even baby brine shrimp, Scotty, you can feed uh, powdered. planktonic foods for your brine shrimp. We do that at work too. Um, but excuse me, you have to be careful though, because depend if you try to feed your baby brine more than they can consume, it can actually foul the water, and you can lose your colony. So, or you can lose your hatch. So you have to be a little bit careful. But yeah, a lot of your microscopic animals, your copepods, amphipods, things like that, mysid shrimp, they'll eat phytoplankton. If you have filter feeders like clams, oysters, sponges, things like that, they'll filter it out of the water column for sure as well. But a lot of your actual larger fish species, at least to my knowledge, they don't really consume phytoplankton unless they're larval. So the larval fish will. Um, but it's mainly a food source for your larger live food source, if that makes sense. I hope that answered your question. Good question, though, Scotty. I appreciate it. Okay. Um, so shipping rates as of right now is unchanged. That could change, keep in mind. But as of right now, the pricing for shipping is still the same. It's $9.99 for 1 to 3 day. It's $34.99 for overnight UPS. Excuse me. Product pricing. So we all know that things are getting expensive, and unfortunately, that includes the stuff we need for our aquariums as well as the live goods themselves. So pricing will be increasing for products, for most products this year. A lot of the reasoning is because of certain companies have minimum suggested retail pricing. So this particular price for a product that the company gives me is the least amount that I can charge you for it. I can't go any lower than that. And there are pros and cons to that. Um, but obviously, and then also sourcing, distributor changes. So I was probably getting an item that was a little cheaper from one distributor. They unfortunately no longer carry it. I have to find another distributor, and they do carry it, but it's gone up. That actually happened with me with the Dennerley Shrimp King. I had one distributor that was selling it for a little bit cheaper, and they're no longer carrying it. They're no longer carrying Dennerley, period, which is interesting because I started buying from them because they were carrying Dennerley. But I have another distributor now that I work with that carries way more Dennerley stuff than the other distributor did. And I guess it makes sense because things are just getting expensive, period. But they're selling it to me more at a more higher price, which means that now I have to change the pricing I have uh, and increase the pricing so it makes a little bit of sense. Because again, if a company gives me an MSRP, that's actually very helpful because then I don't have to really think much about what I need to price the products for. They already do that for you. But certain companies don't have an MSRP. And it's up to you to determine how much it's costing you to buy and then have it shipped to you. And then you have to calculate that and then try to make a profit out of it or figure out the profit margins, which are not that much right now, unfortunately. If anybody else who is in the aquarium business will absolutely agree with me on that. And then increased shipping costs. So getting one item shipped to me is probably shipping is going up anyway. And so that affects, a lot of people don't realize it, but when I get something shipped, between most of the items that I get in stock get shipped to me. I don't go out and I don't have a manufacturer or a wholesaler nearby that I could just go to their warehouse and save on shipping. Obviously, you've got the cost of gas and all that stuff, but I no longer drive a gas car, so it doesn't really affect me. But that plays a part in how much I have to increase the price of a product that's now being sold to the consumer. I hope that makes sense. So again, you're going to start seeing certain items that maybe were a different price last year is now going up this year. It's just how things are, unfortunately. That being said, regardless of how cheap or how expensive the stuff that Atlantic Aquariums carries will be, our goal is to offer our customers and our aquarium scientists the best high quality and healthy live products and healthy livestock that I myself use and keep. If it's something that has not worked for me in terms of a product, I am not going to have it on the business on my website. If it's an animal that, if it's a fish or invert or whatever that I just struggle with keeping, I'm not going to offer it on the website for sale, because naturally people are going to ask me questions on the best care practices. This particular fish or invert or coral or whatever has just not done well for me. I don't want to give you the wrong information. So it's just better for me to just not offer it, because it will affect the quality and the health of the livestock that you're receiving if I can't even take care of them properly. So I'm just not going to bother with it. And high quality might mean more expensive, but I strongly am a believer of the fact that you pay what you get what you paid for. So if you want great stuff, high quality stuff, healthy livestock, you might have to pay a little bit more for it. And it's my goal to at least make shipping as affordable as possible. And there's some sacrifices that would have to be made for that. If you want shipping to stay the way it is or to go down, you have to be okay with the fact that the product itself, the price for that is going to go up. Because again, like I mentioned, and a lot of other aquarium businesses and online retailers are saying the same thing. Shipping is just getting more expensive, and the cost of shipping is out of our hands. It's up to the carrier. They're the ones that make the prices. So it's just something that we have to look into. I like cheaper prices and free shipping to my office chair. Of course you do. But sorry, Scotty, things are getting expensive, which means you have to make some sacrifices too. But and then also, I'm not going to be working at the aquarium for much longer, Scotty. What are you going to do after that? Okay. Okay, so this is something that I'm pretty excited for, and I'm curious to know what your guys' thoughts are. There are absolutely going to be mixed views on this. Keep in mind, what you see here is a draft. I guarantee you, by the time that this actually becomes a reality, this program becomes a reality, about maybe 90% of what you're seeing here is probably going to change. So just bear with me for a moment. But it's something that I've been thinking about ever since I started Atlantic Aquariums. And what that is the Atlantic Aquariums Certified Aquarist Program. I'm just going to read this and then explain it later on a bit. In an effort to offer healthy livestock at an affordable price and to support local hobbyists, Atlantic Aquariums will be working on a certification program for local breeders and aquaculturists. Now, what does this mean? So Atlantic Aquariums will purchase livestock based on wholesale prices, or scratch the wholesale pricing thing, but basically I'm going to be working, figuring out a way of what pricing I'm going to be purchasing livestock from you. So the calculations are to be determined. Regardless, when I purchase something from you, it's not going to be retail price. It's obviously going to be cheaper. It's most likely going to be wholesale pricing. Breeder aquaculturists can receive either store credit or payment. So if you want to just get store credit for your livestock, that's great. But if you want to just get paid, that's fine with me as well. Breeder aquaculturists, breeding setups, procedures, and livestock will be inspected and must meet Atlantic Aquarium standards. These standards will be available for public view. So there will be a section on the website talking about this program, and there will be a PDF file with things that I'm going to look for when I come to visit your fish room or your setup or whatever the case might be, and it'll tell you what exactly I'm looking for in order for you to be certified as an Atlantic Aquariums aquaculturist. Um, and I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be a lot of scrutiny, because I have very high standards. I've worked in labs. I've worked in aquaculture labs. Um, I have experience in public aquaria, so I'm knowledgeable on AZA requirements for animal husbandry and things like that. So that's the level that I'm looking for. The health of the animals, the type of foods that are they're being fed, how do you breed them, the procedures of them. Are your tanks too overcrowded? What is your water? What is your maintenance schedule like? Water parameter, your water maintenance changes, things like that. Um, all is going to be inspected and looked upon. It is a yearly recertification, so every year you'll get a visit from me, or in the future, if I have employees, by somebody, um, to just make sure that you're maintaining that level of that standards that Atlantic Aquariums customers expect from Atlantic Aquariums. Livestock will be sold exclusively by Atlantic Aquariums. So if you become a certified aquaculturist program, you're only allowed to sell your livestock that you're breeding to Atlantic Aquariums. So Atlantic Aquariums will exclusively sell your beautiful and healthy livestock, and you will continue to get support from us either in credit, or you'll be getting paid for it. Options for offerings. Option for offering specific species. So let's say you breed a ton of fish, but you have one or two species of fish that is rare or hard to find, and I really want them. You can sell the remainder of your livestock by yourself or to other stores or whatever the case might be, but I want that fish, and that is something that can be discussed. Being certified shows Aquarius you have healthy and quality livestock that is available at Atlantic Aquariums. So obviously it will be publicized that let's say, for example, people love the quality of fish that a certain breeder breeds, and now it is now exclusively offered at Atlantic Aquariums. And so people will be coming to Atlantic Aquariums to buy the fish or livestock or whatever, and there's the whole demand aspect of it. The fish have sold out or sold great. Now we're just waiting for you to breed more fish, and then obviously you'll see Atlantic Aquariums on your doorstep ready to pick up the next batch, things like that. Again, 90% of this is probably going to change once things are more streamlined and things like that. But it's a way for me to get locally sourced livestock that is obviously going to bring down prices because I'm not getting stuff shipped in. There's benefit in the fact that the amount of the quantity, like the minimum quantities and things like that, won't probably apply, because the level or the quantity that the fish wholesaler requires you to purchase versus how quantity a local hobbyist can breed is completely different. And so that affects a lot of things as well. That benefits both the hobbyist and the store. Excuse me. And so I completely forgot where I was going with this. But anyway, it's definitely something beneficial, and obviously Atlantic Aquariums wants to give back to the hobbyist that has been supporting Atlantic Aquariums. And what better way than you to enjoy your hobby as well as your passion or your interest in breeding fish. And then another thing is like, before you may have had headaches and the hassle of trying to sell your fish, going maybe you breed fish but you don't really want to go to events to vend and things like that. But you just don't want to be bothered with it. Well, now you have Atlantic Aquariums that will do all that for you. All you have to do is just focus on breeding good quality fish. Obviously, once you are certified, you'll receive a certification that you can display. And then if you have like social medias or whatever that means, there's an album or an emblem that you can basically put that, you know, I am a certified Atlantic Aquariums aquaculturist. Like I said, it has to be ironed out, and so, but I'm pretty excited about it. Sponsored organizations, clubs, etc. So Atlantic Aquariums offers a 20% discount to paying members of local clubs, societies, as well as sponsors, organizations, and institutions. Um, Current clubs and societies that are currently sponsored is the Aquarium Club of Lancaster County, as well as the Bucks County Aquarium Society. The current discount code that you guys had for these two clubs has expired now. I will be reaching out to the clubs to basically provide them with the new discount codes for this year. The codes change every year because obviously the member lists change every year. So Scotty, I'll be sending you an email soon with the Aquarium Club of Lancaster County's discount code. Also, Scotty, are you still affiliated with Bucks County, or will I have to contact somebody else? I'm curious to know that. I know of multiple high quality breeders in the area that would give you fish for below wholesale prices for just store credit, but won't want to go through all that. I'm assuming the inspections and things like that. That is something that most likely is not going to change. I need to know that the hobbyists meet Atlantic Aquarium standards. I have standards that might be different from other people. Um, and I want to make sure that I'm offering good quality fish. So I have to see your setup. I have to see the health of the fish in person before I make any commitments to the commitments or partnerships. So, you know, but again, could change. Um, cool. So that is all I have in terms of updates. Hopefully, it was exciting for you guys. Um, and uh, to basically give back to those of you who stuck around till the end, there is going to be a raffle. So let me take this out for a moment. Oh, did not mean to do that. Sorry. So, what is going to be raffled? Sorry, just trying to find it. So there are two items that are going to be raffled. So you have two chances to get. And basically what it is, so we offer pleco ceramic products on at Atlantic Aquariums. Don't know if you knew that. Are we back? Please let me know if I'm back, if you can hear me. Okay, good. All right. Sorry about that. I even knew that the battery was low on this laptop and I still didn't put it a charge. So that is my fault. Anyway, so raffles. So there's going to be 2 raffles. Pleco Ceramics. One thing, and I found this out from talking with Pleco Ceramics during the Keystone Clash this past year, is they're working on their own line of foods. And so they were gracious enough to give me some samples to try. And I'm currently trying their beta foods as well as their spirulina foods. I feed my guppies that from time to time. So I got these spirulina fish food. And then they also have pleco algae wafers. So this is great for your omnivorous or vegetarian plecos that eat plant matter. And then they have the bottom dwelling tablets for bottom dwellers. This is the wrong container. They said that this is not the container this is going to be coming into. But anyway, so what I decided to do is, because I currently do not have any bottom feeders or plecos as of right now, I'm going to be raffling these off. But there is a catch. Whoever wins the food, I greatly appreciate it if you can give me feedback on how your fish respond to these foods, what you think of it. Because if there's good results, we might carry Pleco Ceramic foods. You never know. But basically, what we're going to be raffling off is the algae wafers and the bottom dweller tablets. So I need to go and find the wheel. But looking at how many people are on our live, it's probably just you, Scotty. So I like my odds. But yeah, Scotty's requesting to see the items again. So it's the Pleco algae wafers, and then the bottom feeder tablets. But in all honesty, if nobody else is here, Scotty, you're probably just gonna end up getting it. But let's see, because sometimes StreamYard is not giving me the right number. So it's been a while since I did a giveaway. Okay. Giveaway. Create giveaway. Select the live stream. Atlantic Aquariums. And for the first one, we're going to do the keyword being we'll do algae. So ALGAE. Let me share my thingy. Oop. No worries, Scotty. Sorry about that. Appreciate it. So we'll give a couple of moments. Scotty says, but I wish I wasn't, but I wish I was blue instead of pink. Sorry, Scotty. That's what you get. All right, we're gonna do the giveaway again. I can already tell who it's going to be.
Scotty the Fish Freak.
Congratulations, Scotty. Alrighty. Then we're gonna do another one, because why not? And for this one, we're going to do bottom feeder. It's gonna be one word though. So we're doing one more. Excuse me. Then you can tag along if you'd like. Hashtag bottom feeder for a chance to win the Pleco Ceramics bottom feeder tablets that I would I would appreciate getting feedback from once you use them. See whether or not we should carry them on the store. So Zen, you have the chance. I don't need any more new stuff. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So we're gonna go ahead because it looks like it's just Zen and Scotty.
Scotty the Fish Freak.
Well, how about that? 2 in a row. It's your lucky day, my friend. Alrighty. Let me stop sharing that. And that is pretty much it. So I thank you all for stopping by. I hope you're excited about a lot of these updates that are coming up. Whether or not all those updates come to fruition, we'll just have to wait and see. A lot of this, is dependent upon your support of the business of Atlantic Aquariums. So please, 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 if you haven't already, become a store member. Make sure that you follow us on our social medias, Instagram, Facebook. There's even a LinkedIn we have. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. If you missed the stream, I do apologize. I hope, but hope you enjoy the replay. And then in the comment section down below, let me know what you guys think, or what you're excited for. I'm very curious to see, to hear that. But yeah, with that being said, thank you all very much for your time. I hope I wasn't boring you too much. Make sure that you maintain proper water parameters, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Oh, and thank you to the moderators.